Namaste. When it comes to finding a successor, many a times you always think about having a biological child. Because the basic idea which has been carried on for many ages is that the first to become your successor is always your biological child. In this podcast, I have debunked this myth. The successor need not be a biological child. And since fifth house is connected with child, I have also talked about fifth house. So this podcast is only for a selective class of followers who have been following me closely. Because the thought and the idea shared in this podcast may not be received or understood by everybody. You need a certain depth of understanding to understand the sharing of this podcast. So let's begin. It is said that the disciples of Gautam Buddha wanted to know the successor of Gautam Buddha. However, Gautam Buddha never mentioned about his successor. He was such a simple man. Instead of appointing his successor, he simply asked his disciples to work out their own salvation. So officially, there has been no successor to Gautam Buddha. However, after Gautam Buddha left his body, Mahakasyap took over the monastery, and he was the one who presided over the first Buddhist council that happened after the death of Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha had exchanged his robe with Mahakasyap, a sign that after Gautama Buddha, it was Mahakasyap who would establish the Buddhist discipline. The true master would never officially declare his successor, but through his actions, he will let you know who is his real successor. In reality, there can be no successor because nobody could replace you. Your uniqueness is irreplaceable. However, somebody close to you, somebody who has been with you and has truly resonated with you, somebody who can carry the work you had started with, can become your successor. In astrology, fifth house is the house of successor. Whether you have a biological son or a biological daughter, or whether you have a devoted fellow, either way, you have created something. Creating a biological son or a daughter is one thing, and creating a devoted fellow who understands you inside out is another thing. Both are part of creation, but the one that you have created by your own wisdom, your love, your knowledge, and your compassion is of much higher realms. Many men and many women don't have a biological child. However, through their compassion, their love, and their nurturing quality, they have produced such devoted fellows who may go to any length and do the unimaginable which a biological child may also not dare to do. So I want to debunk the myth that it is only the biological child who can succeed you and your legacy. Fifth house is not just limited to a biological child. It also signifies the many good-hearted fellow followers, students, and disciples that you have created through your wisdom, love, and compassion. And of all these followers, one of them can become your successor. Successor means not that he will be exactly like you, because you are unique. Every person is unique. But successor means he will carry forward the values, the principles, the ethics, and the teachings that you imparted when you were alive. Now, after the fifth house, it is the role of Jupiter that matters the most. Depending on the state of Jupiter in your chart, you will find your successor. And the last but very important planet is Saturn. Since Saturn is directly connected with prarabdha karma, depending on the state of Saturn, you will pass on your legacy to a specific person, and that specific person may not be a biological son or a biological daughter, but if there is a strong prarabdha karma connection of past and present life, then nobody can stop that person from becoming your successor. Successor need not be a person who is born in your family. Successor can be a person who has no blood relation with you, and yet nobody can understand you better than that person. And so, whether you don't have a biological child or you have a biological child, your successor is the one who becomes your soulmate. What is soulmate? Soulmate is a term coined to express the deep connection between two persons, which is beyond the power of expression. A soulmate can be a partner, a friend, a student, a disciple, or a devotee. In a soulmate relation, there is only pure, unconditional love. And so I think that there can be no better example of a soulmate than the relation between a guru and the disciple. Many guru-disciple relationships are soulmate connections that can lead to higher spiritual paths and higher love. Paramahansa Yogananda described the guru-disciple relationship as a very personal and private spiritual bond. No love is so total as the love that happens between the guru and the disciple. The love that happened between John and Jesus. The love that happened between Sariputta and Buddha. These are the real love stories, the highest pinnacles of love. Buddha had officially no successor, but he had great disciples who loved him dearly. And from these great disciples, Sariputta was a gem of a person. It happened so that one day Sariputta, Buddha's chief disciple, became enlightened. With tears in his eyes, he came to Buddha and he said, "I was avoiding enlightenment, but you went on insisting. Now I am enlightened and my eyes are full of tears, because I know you will send me away from you just to spread the fire. And I understand your compassion, that you are continuously aware of the many who can become Buddhas. Just a little support is needed. Those who have not gone far away from themselves can be called back very easily." Buddha said, "Then why are you crying?" He said, "I am crying because I will not be able to touch your feet every day as I have been doing for these 20 years. Buddha said, do one thing, keep a map with you and remember in what direction I am dwelling. Just bow down in that direction. Touch the feet symbolically. Touch the earth, because after all, this body is made of earth, and one day it will go back to the earth. So, touching the earth is not only touching my feet, but touching the feet of all the Buddhas who have ever happened. They have all dissolved their bodies in the earth. So there is no need, and it does not look right, that an enlightened person should weep and cry. Sariputta said, I don't care what people think, but the reality is that tears are coming. And according to your teaching, I should be spontaneous and authentic. Even if you say don't weep, I am not going to listen. Tears are coming. What can I do? I cannot be a hypocrite, smiling though the eyes are full of tears. It is said that Sariputta, wherever he was, in the morning would look at the map to find exactly where Buddha was, and in that direction he would bow down and touch the feet of Buddha. He came to have thousands of disciples of his own, and they said, it does not look right. You need not do such a gesture. You are a Buddha yourself. He said, it is true. I am a Buddha myself. But I would not have been a Buddha if I had not met Gautama the Buddha. It is the meeting with this man that triggered something in me, burned all that was false, and brought all that was true in its pristine purity and clarity. I owe so much to this man that there is no way to pay him. All that I can do is touch his feet from miles away. Sariputta continues to his very last breath. Before he died before Gautam Buddha. The last thing he said to his disciples was, forgive me, because you cannot see those invisible feet. Let me touch the feet of my master for the last time. And he bowed down, tears flowing from his eyes, and he died in that posture. He did not get up again. That is true humanity, humbleness, devotion, love, and trust. And such qualities can only be found in a disciple, a devoted disciple who understood Gautama the Buddha more than Ananda. Ananda was the elder cousin brother of Gautam Buddha. He followed Buddha for 40 years, but he could not attain enlightenment. He could not understand Gautama the Buddha in totality, the way Sariputta, the way Mahakasyap understood Gautama the Buddha. And so successor is your soulmate, and soulmate usually is never connected to you biologically. He is always an outsider who remains deeply connected with your inner beauty that nobody in your family could relate to. So whether you have a biological child or you don't have a biological child, the real successor is someone who always is an outsider, though he shares a bond of many past births with you, which the shallow world could never realize. And so the real successors are not known to the public. They do their work silently. They ensure that the light of consciousness reaches the farthest shores of this planet. You may never come to know about them, but they are the ones who answer your prayers. They are the chosen ones, the living Buddhas of this human world. Remember, what you seek is also seeking you. You think you are alone, but you are never alone. Somebody is watching you, caring for you, and that somebody is nobody else than the divine compassionate master. Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.